Fortunately, I've gotten to do this quite a few times, and because I've been fortunate to have such a good group of people like Wilson come and spend time with us. First, congratulations to all our inductees this evening, and thank you all parents and friends for coming and support them. Especially thank you to the Perez family who sent Wilson to us. It's my great pleasure to introduce this Hall of Fame inductee. I would dazzle you with his accomplishments, but just reading them is tremendous. But I want to tell you a little bit about how he got here. Sometimes when you recruit an athlete, everything goes pretty smoothly. And other times, in this case, you get lucky. Wilson, his senior year, was running very well in cross country, and he filled out a recruit form and mailed it off. The coach who received it at Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut, was a grad assistant, Gary Gardner, and he was a former Keene State standout runner. Well, fortunately for me, Wilson's grades weren't quite up to NESCAC standards. Not that he was a bad student, but they weren't quite for Trinity. But so Gary gave me a call, faxed me his recruit form, and I got to call Wilson and start the recruiting process with him. Now, this process went pretty normal till spring when he came up and visited and spent some time with us, and I called him on the phone, talked to him about other kids that were coming. And then decision time came, and Wilson was on the fence. He wasn't on the fence about what college he was going to go to. He was on the fence on whether he was going to go to college at all. And I was like sweating this. Fortunately for me, his mom said, "You're going." So Wilson's freshman year then went exceedingly well. Senior captain Matt Kasiba, cross country and track All-American for us. Matt took Wilson and the rest of the young team under his wing, and they proceeded to have a very good season where, though each race somebody ran well and someone ran bad, and they weren't all together at the same time putting out great races. We get to the end of the year, and I think Matt was looking for, as a captain, was looking for the mental edge for him. And they did something that wouldn't it be great by our athletic standards. Matt went out and bought 7 new uniforms, black, put white Keen Owls on it, and the night before the race came in with me, with the team, the hotel the night before, and said, "We want to do this. We want to wear these new uniforms tomorrow." I said, "Not our colors, guys." And they're like, "Come on, we got to do this." I said, "All right, you guys have to run well tomorrow if you're going to do this." Throwing the pressure totally back on them. So they went into that race ranked 8th in the region, and it had been just after a snowstorm. So they were running on very, very snowy, wet ground, and they charged out of the gate, got out into the lead, and held it the whole way. Finished a very close 3rd, earned their trip to nationals, where they proceeded then to finish 10th in the country. So in a 2-week time, they went from 8th in the region to 10th nationally. And much of it, I think, had to do with those black uniforms. On to indoor we went, and Wilson continued to improve, setting personal records through the month of January. I was very pleased with him. We're at mid-season, Wilson setting new marks, and then he comes into the office and says, "Yeah, I'm not running any more indoor track." I'm like, "What? You gotta be kidding me." He said, "No, I'm done. I'm tired." And I was shocked. And we discussed it, and his mind was made up. It seemed, though, what I remember is that his girlfriend at the time, back was still in high school, and Wilson wanted to be spending a few weekends going home. rather than going to track meets. Fortunately for me, that relationship ended soon after that. And Wilson was back for outdoor track. So his outdoor season went quite well. And he, I've had talked him to running the 10K. He wasn't quite up to the distance he thought at the time. I said, no, you'll be fine at it. So he ran, they ran a decent 5K, and he ran the 10K, and he split in the 10K faster than he had raced the 5K the week before. He qualified for another postseason race. And he ran that and ran a bit faster and qualified for one more. And I said, great, Wilson, you qualified for that. He said, nah, I'm done. I said, but it's going to be a lot, right? I'm done. So when Wilson was, saying he was done, it was okay. So we sent him home for the summer, and he had turned a corner mentally, came back. Matt was gone, but new senior captain Scott Jensen had taken over the team then at that point, and again showed great team leadership with his group, and Wilson then just excelled from there, developing to an 8-time All-American. As you see, reading the program, dominated in cross country, finishing 23rd as a sophomore All-American, 12th as a junior, 4th as a senior, the junior and senior year, leading the team to second places at the national championships. We were one of the most feared teams in the region, whether it was Division 1, 2, or 3. When we showed up, people were scared. Wilson continued the dominance with indoor track and outdoor track, getting second at indoor nationals and second at outdoor 10K in his final race for Keene. Since graduating, Wilson's been my assistant coach and has done an excellent job of providing leadership and guidance and mentoring our young athletes. And he's gone on to start an excellent program at Colby Sawyer, and that was well recognized, and he's hired now full-time at New England College. My only problem now is that I have to recruit against him and coach against him. All right, congratulations, Wilson.
Thank you. I appreciate the privilege to speak here tonight and would like to begin by congratulating the other inductees. It is a great honor to be here with all of you tonight. It wasn't anything I ever imagined would occur. When I got the call from John Ratliff, I thought he was going to inform me that Pete's retiring and he wants me to take over. He didn't say that, but he did tell me I was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Needless to say, my mind was blown, and I'm honored to be standing here at this moment. Tonight, I'd like to acknowledge the people in my life who helped me get on the stage tonight. These individuals believed in me and pushed me to be the best athlete I could be. And perhaps the first and foremost individual is my mom. It is a cliche to say that without her I would not be here today, but it was her constant attention and diligence that mattered most. She never missed a game or a meet. She always cheered me on, and more importantly, would yell at the referees when needed. When I was 12 in the 7th grade, I remember coming home from school and telling my mom I wanted to run. She looked at me funny and replied, "What do you mean you want to run?" I told her that the school has a cross-country team and I wanted to run. She supported that decision even though she did not know anything about cross-country. Later she would tell me she thought the sport was not going to be exciting and it was going to be exceptionally boring to watch. That is until she saw my first race. Like most races, you start in an open field and then head into the woods where runners can't be seen by spectators. After the race, I found that she was a nervous wreck. She spent the whole time I was in the woods in a panic. Despite the fear that I might have been eaten by a bear, after that first race, she was hooked. So was I. Thank you, Mom, for always being there and providing me with the tools to be successful. For that, I am forever in debt, and though I don't say it enough, I'll say it now. I love you.
I love you too.
I definitely have to thank my brother Ricardo and sisters Sheila and Wendy for being great role models in my life. A bit of advice to train fast requires two key attributes. One, being able to run your mouth, and second, being able to sprint off and not get caught. Thanks to my siblings, I got more support at a young age than most runners in getting a career. But those siblings may not know is my competitive nature definitely comes from them. They were all multiple sport, three sport athletes growing up, and being the baby in the family, I went to my fair share of games to cheer them on. I've always looked up to them and wanted to make a name for myself like they had in their respective sports. Siblings are not always the best role models. Mine were. I love you all, and thank you for that. While I'm thanking family, I have to remember my beautiful wife, Rebecca, who started to understand this whole running thing a couple years ago. When we met, I was not running, and when I started back up, she said, "You're going to be gone for how long?" She quickly learned I was in a much better mood once I got my run in for the day. After that, she would just tell me to go for a run. She truly understands my passion for the sport and the fact that I want to give back as a collegiate coach. Becky also gave me the greatest gift, and we welcomed in the world Wilson Perez III on December 6th. Like every little boy, he is amazing. Becky, I appreciate all the things that you do, and in my eyes, you are a Hall of Fame mom. And I hope and I pray I can be as good as man and husband as you are a wife and mother. I would like to thank my high school coaches, Jack Brown and David Pelletier, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight. They truly believed in me and let me know early on that I could go places if I worked hard and wanted to improve. We have a saying on the Newmarket cross-country team, and that is, "Don't stop believing in the runner that you can be." That saying stuck with me all through college and still to this day in my normal everyday life. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to be a coach, so I could give back to a sport that has given me so much. So thank you, Brian Pellet. I won't stop believing. The next person I'd like to thank, never coached cross-country or track. If you could stand up, Scott. This is Scott Weitzel. He coached middle school basketball before he went on to coach at Newmarket High School and then the University of New Hampshire. This guy, I mean, could get you so fired up, like your head would be ready to explode with excitement. Scott was also a mastermind when it came to strategy, and we were talking about it at the table, and I have to tell you the story of Jake Nelson. I was one of two sixth graders who made the middle school basketball team, and I sat the bench most of the season, getting a few minutes here and there when we were killing the other team. That season, we ended up making it to the championship game, and Scott pulls me aside. He looks at me and says, "You're going to be playing about 90% of the championship game." Of course, I was shocked and had no idea what was going on. The other team had an 8th grader named Jake Nelson that would easily score over 30 points a game, and blew our doors in earlier in the beginning of the season. Scott looked at me and said, "You're not going to pay attention to anything that is going on in this game." He goes, "I want you to keep your hands up, and I want you to stay in Jake Nelson's face the entire game." And this is my favorite line. He goes, "If he goes to the bathroom, you're going with him." That whole game, I had no idea where the ball was. I ran him out of the gym, shut him down to about 10 points. Scott ran into Jake a few years back, and I guess he has nightmares of me defending him. Scott is the type of person that always takes time out of his busy life, and I appreciate that. So thank you for knowing my strengths and following my career through high school, college, and beyond. Of course, I have to thank you, Pete, for making me the 8-time All-American I became at King State. Pete laid everything out to me as a freshman and told me these are the things you need to do to be an All-American. I remember him telling us as freshmen, you can do 2 out of 3 things well in college, and that's your schoolwork and athletics. That advice really helped me do well in the classroom and on the track. Thank you for running with me at 7 a.m. my sophomore year when we decided to start double runs and take my running to the next level. Some of those mornings, it was 15 degrees out with the wind chill making it feel close to 0. Those mornings sucked, but you told me there would be a lot of sacrifices to being great, and I was up for the challenge. Thank you for pushing me to my limits and always being there. Thank you to all my teammates, some who could make it tonight, Scotty Singleton, Matt Casiba, Kenny Flynn, thank you guys. We logged a lot of miles together, and it really was a brotherhood. We knew our strengths and our weaknesses and worked together to get faster. Thank you to Bob Merrill and the whole athletic training room. I didn't get hurt often, but when I did, they worked quickly to get me back out there. Finally, I'd like to thank my brother-in-law Kevin DeLay and my niece and nephew Ty and Derek DeLay for cheering me on. I would also like to thank Jason LeBranch, who I met when I was 5. Growing up, we'd be on many teams together, be college roommates, be in each other's weddings, and most importantly, friends. In closing, I'm extremely excited to be a part of such a great group of individuals being selected into the KSC Hall of Fame. Knowing my picture will be forever etched in Spalding Gymnasium, well, it's hard to find words for that. Thank you.
Wilson's plaque reads, Keene State Athletic Hall of Fame, Wilson Perez, 03, cross country track, 8-time All-America, runner-up NCAA Nationals, 5,000 meter and 10,000 meter, New England Division III cross country champion, KSC Male Athlete of the Year, inducted February 4th, 2012. Wilson, congratulations.